Good afternoon and welcome to this Licensing and Public Space Protection Order Subcommittee on the 12th of March 2025. Our first order of business this afternoon is to appoint a chair. Can I have a nomination for chair, please?
Councillor Bra.
Thank you, Councillor Baskerville. Is that seconded, Councillor Cross? Thank you very much. With that, Councillor Bra, you may proceed with the chair's introduction.
Thank you, Kim. Welcome to the meeting of the Licensing and Public Space Protection Order Subcommittee, 12th of March 2025. My name is Councillor Mandy Brar. I'll be chairing this meeting. This meeting is being held in person via Zoom and streamed live on public on YouTube. I remind all attendees that taking part in this meeting indicates consent to the audio and video being streamed live, and acknowledgement that after the meeting it will continue to be available in public domain. Firstly, it would be useful if all subcommittee members and officers could introduce themselves so that the public are aware of who is in the meeting and the role they play. My name is Councillor Mandy Brar. I shall be chairing this meeting and I'm one of the committee members.
Councillor Suzanne Cross. I'm a voting member of the subcommittee.
Councillor Clive Baskerville, I'm voting member of the subcommittee.
Anthony Lennon, barrister for the Royal Borough and legal advisor to the panel. I play no part in the decision-making process, but my legal advice is given in private to the panel if needed.
My name is Kim Woodley and I'll be clerking this meeting.
My name is Monika Kołodziejczyk. I'm a licensing officer and I'm here to observe.
Craig Hawkins, licensing team leader and reporting officer today. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yasoda Dusyandan and I am representing today AV Retails Limited. Thank you.
Yes, we'll go around.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kadurvel Jagadaran. I'm DPS and I'm director of the AV Retails Limited.
Hello, everyone. My name is Khalid Chalwan. I'm the director of the business, AV Retail.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jessica Singh here on behalf of Remit Enterprises Limited.
Right. I request the meeting participation do not speak until I specifically invite you to do so. Once I have invited you to speak, before you do, so please state your name and the capacity in which you are speaking, if appropriate. I will ask officers to speak at appropriate times. If any individual attempts to disrupt the meeting, I'm able to use my powers in the Constitution to adjourn the meeting to have the individual removed. I would also like to remind councillors that to improve our time and effectiveness as subcommittee, I would like you to please limit the repetition of points or questions which already been raised by others. Where possible, please put forward all new points or questions which you like to raise during the request to speak. We will now start the agenda item. Do we have any apologies for absence?
No apologies, Chair.
Okay. Any declaration of interest? No? None? Okay. Procedures. Would you like to read the procedures out, Kim? Please?
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
So firstly, the reporting officer as the licensing authority shall outline the application and the decision to be taken. Subcommittee members are then to ask questions of the reporting officer. The applicant is to ask questions of the reporting officer. The applicant is to put their case to the subcommittee. Subcommittee members are to ask questions of the applicant. If applicable, any other persons are to make their representations. If applicable, subcommittee members are to ask questions of other persons. If applicable, the applicant is to ask questions of other persons. The chair is to ask if any parties have any further questions or anything they wish to add. The applicant is to briefly summarise their position and confirm that they've had the chance to say what they wished to. The reporting officer is to sum up and restate the options for the members of the subcommittee. The subcommittee is to retire and communicate their decision within 5 working days, which will be by Wednesday, the 19th of March.
Thank you, Kim. Now we go to agenda item 5, which is the applicant application for AV Retail, St. Luke's Road, 44 St. Luke's Road, Old Windsor. Right, I will ask the reporting officers to report the.
Thank you, Chair. This report has been produced to assist the members of the Council's Licensing Subcommittee in their consideration of an application made by AV Retails Limited for a new premises licence to be granted under the Licensing Act 2003 for the premises of 44 St Luke's Road, Old Windsor, Sierra Lima 4 to Quebec Juliet. In line with the Licensing Act 2003, Section 18, subsection 3A, where relevant representations are made against an application, a hearing must be held to consider it. The purpose of this hearing is for the Licensing Subcommittee to hear the application and the received written or oral representations from other parties, and then to make a decision in respect of the application. So the application is to license a convenience store with the sale of alcohol. They will also be selling lottery tickets, newspapers and magazines with a pay point and pay zone located within the premises. For those who aren't familiar with the location of the premises, I have attached a map of the premises, and that is Appendix B, Bravo, and that's on page 35 of the bundle. I've also attached a copy of the application as Appendix Alpha A, and that ranges from pages 19 to 33 of the bundle. The application is for the following licensable activities: the supply of alcohol, but off the premises, and that is from Monday to Sunday from 0600 to 2300 hours. The designated premises supervisor is Mr. Jegatharan, and the application was advertised in accordance with statutory regulations, and the last day of representations was the 17th of February 2025. Officers did attend the premises and confirm that all the advertising requirements were met, and officers were satisfied that it was advertised in the correct way. Officers have also reviewed the operating schedule, which includes the relevant conditions, which can be viewed within the application. So in terms of the requirement, the application was advertised, as I said, in the correct way, and any kind of reference to the Licensing Act is contained within this report. In terms of promoting the application for promoting the licensing objectives, the subcommittee must also have regard to the national guidance issued under Section 182 of the Act, and also the Council's own licensing policy. So where relevant representations have been made, the licensing authority are here to hold a hearing to consider the application, unless previously agreed by other parties outside of this process, which hasn't happened. The Licensing and Public Space Protection Order Subcommittee can take steps as are appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. To be relevant, the representation had to relate to the likely effect of the grant of the licence on the promotion of at least one of the 4 licensing objectives which are set out in the Licensing Act 2003. I'll take this opportunity to remind everyone what the licensing objectives are, and for the any viewers on YouTube. The 4 licensing objectives are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. As we go through the bundle on page 8, as can be seen, the applicant has agreed conditions with Thames Valley Police and also trading standards, and copies of those agreed conditions, as well as their own operating schedule, can be viewed as Appendix C, Charlie, and that's from pages 37 to 39 of the bundle. There was 1 representation received against the application, and a redacted copy of that representation is included within the bundle as Appendix D, and that's from pages 43 to 45. Within the bundle, moving on from page 9, I have attached the relevant parts of our own policy and the Section 182 guidance. First of all, I've attached our framework hours, which are just a guide to what we would consider appropriate. As can be seen for a off license, our recommended hours are from 0900 to 2300. So this application does fall just slightly outside of those framework hours with a opening hour of 0600, not 0900. I will say that if the application had not received any representations, this application would have been granted automatically under officer's delegation. Moving through the bundle, again, I've attached relevant parts of the policy, which are what we would consider appropriate measures that the applicant would attempt to uphold the licensing objectives, what measures they're put in place as part of their operating schedule against the 4 licensing objectives. Again, that would include what challenge policy they have, such as a challenge 21, challenge 25 policy, so age verification checks, how they intend to prevent public nuisance, crime disorder, and protection of children from harm. The options available to the subcommittee today, which again I will summarise at a later point within this hearing, is to reject the application entirely, refuse to specify a person as the DPS. That's not relevant here. That's normally where we see ongoing issues on an already licensed premises. Grant the application, but modify the activities and or the conditions of the license and or the hours, or to grant the application as applied for. That is an outline of the report, and I open myself up to any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Committee members, subcommittee members, any questions for Craig? Yeah. Sorry.
On the opening hours, 6 o'clock in the morning, is that rather than 9? Will they be selling alcohol at that time in the morning, or is that just for selling papers and things like that?
The only licensable activity that they've applied for is for the sale of alcohol for off the premises only. And yes, that would take effect from 0600 hours to 2300 hours as applied for. The Licensing Act 2003 does allow for 24-hour licensing. This wouldn't fall outside of the norm for other premises of this nature.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Right. The applicant, you have any questions for Craig?
No, thank you.
Okay. Oh, right. Right, I'd like the applicant to put their case forward, please.
Thank you, Chair. In addition to our application and supporting documents we provided for the hearing, we would like to include this application seeks a premises license for 44 St. Luke's Road, Old Windsor, permitting retail sale of alcohol for consumption of the premises. The applicant has proposed several conditions and has also agreed to additional conditions suggested by Thames Valley Police and trading standards to ensure adherence to the licensing objectives. No objections received from responsible authority regarding opening hours. The applicant is committed to ensuring that all our 4 licensing objectives are upheld at all times, which is supported by their robust training program. The designated premises supervisor, Mr. Jagadharan Kadarwel, boasts 5 years of experience in the retail industry. He has gained practical experience through hands-on training from his current employer and has further demonstrated his leadership capabilities by managing 7 convenience stores as a director across England. The director, Mr. Kadir Selvan Kanaharatnam, possesses over a decade of extensive experience in managing various retail premises. He has an impressive history of successfully overseeing multiple convenience stores and fuel stations throughout England. Prior to submitting their premises license application, the applicant sought guidance from the planning department, which confirmed there were no issues or restrictions on establishing a convenience store at the proposed location. Notably, the premises previously operated as a local convenience store several years ago. The applicant has applied to join the Premier Retailer Network, and their application has been approved by the Premier Stores Group following a thorough site and area visit. The Premier Stores Group conducted extensive market research and confirmed the premises is suited in a safe and situated in a safe and suitable location. As outlined in the applicant's operating schedule, full responsibility will be taken for managing waste generated at the premises. Bookers Limited, the applicant's primary supplier, will handle the recycling of all the cardboard from the site, while other waste will be disposed of through a licensed waste disposal company. It is noted that the Council's Highway Authority oversees the maintenance, safety, and usability of local roads, which falls outside the scope of licensing conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Subcommittee members, do you have any questions for the applicant? Councillor Bessel?
Right.
Thank you.
One of the comments has been made about the lack of parking there. As far as I remember, there's a car park directly opposite, which is used by anybody. As far as I remember, is that where people like to be parking to access your stores?
No, actually, that is belongs to the club next door.
Right.
We have a allocated parking behind the building. There's a 3 parking space behind the building.
How many are there?
3 of them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. No, a quick question from my side. So you've talked about the history of running sort of similar businesses. Is there anything different to the businesses you run before that Premier Stores Group that you're proposing has? I mean, are there areas where you don't have any history, which would be new for you in this premises, or have you got a history of running these types of businesses across the board? Because as I understand it from your application, there's a number of things you're doing: cash points, obviously the licensing of alcohol, newspapers. Have you done all of those elements before?
Exactly. We done all of this. We have 5 Premier stores, and we have an independent store, 2 independent stores. So we have done all this one in all other shops.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Could I ask another question? Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the right place to ask the question. So you spoke about waste, and obviously there's waste of goods that are delivered to the property, you know, that you're selling and so on. Now, one of the things I see in all of these types of stores, sadly, is litter, the other end of things that people buy and then, you know, then dispose of potentially on the street. I was wondering, what have you thought about the sort of the other end, you know, people exiting the premises after purchasing things? Thank you.
We will also have a bin outside for the customers. If anyone opening a pack and anything, they will put it, and we will manage that one. We will do the same. We are doing the same for the other shops as well.
Any other questions? I have one. How long have you been running these businesses, the other businesses you have?
I'm running 7 years, Chair, and my other director has several years of experience managing petrol stations and convenience store.
Okay, any other questions? Right, okay, now we bring in the objectives. Sorry, I've got the name.
Jessica Singh. Yeah, no problem. I'd like to put my case forward as well, addressing the licensing objectives under the 2003 Act. I've got a range of points I'd like to cover, which are a concern for us and the community, because I did a petition and addressing all the concerns. As you know, not everyone can make it to the meeting today. So first objection is currently we don't see that there's any community need for another convenience store on St. Luke's Road. Currently there's a co-op and there is our store as well. There's another budget shop and there's also an M&S food, which is nearby, all have licenses for distribution of alcohol sale. So as you know, in a small village, there's already 4 licensed retailers. Another is necessary, as you know, it's not Windsor town, it's Old Windsor, small tight-knit community. And obviously putting another business act strain with another off license isn't really necessary. The applicant really hasn't demonstrated why this off license is needed when existing businesses are already meeting demand. It would disrupt the balance of our local economy, as I said. If there's no additional benefits, I would like to raise that, that would put strain on our current small independent business, which has been running for multiple years. And, we're really close with the residents and they agree as well. We got 71 signatures, which were sent to our Royal Borough Windsor Maidenhead licensing team. I would like to move on to my second point, if that's okay. So like you said, the questions you asked as well, there's an increased risk of antisocial behavior, as you know, based on the timings they've proposed. They're like 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. All the stores on St. Luke's Road are currently that distribute alcohol are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., which is something I would like to raise as well, like I said. Obviously, as you know, increased alcohol sale hours will increase street drinking, loitering, disturbances, particularly at night for the local residents. Another off license will put further strain on policing as well. Also, I'd like to say other areas with multiple off licenses in the same road always increase to increase in crime, which we don't want the local community to face, as with ourselves as well. So the other point that I would like to move on to now is the public safety risks that they've sort of addressed in relation to parking and traffic congestion. On St. Luke's Road is quite a small, narrow road, and it bends to the right. There's always obstructions based on vans and stuff like that. As they said that they don't have the opposing parking, which is the clubhouses. So parking for deliveries, we would like to know where they would park and if they would park on the street in front, because that would cause massive congestion and it's dangerous as well, creating blind spots for local residents, ourselves included, and even children in the area that we know. Delivery vans will probably not have proper unloading space unless they use the parking in the back, like they said. So we do not want blocked roads in our area. I would already address the alcohol sale hours. And then, like I said, risk to young people, is it really necessary to have another off licenses in the small village where it's already being addressed by 4 shops? Another one will just make it easier access to alcohol to respectfully someone who doesn't know the area. So we just wanted to address that as well. And as you mentioned, the littering problem will increase. That's just a known fact that when there's like other stores that distribute retail goods, there's going to be more littering in the area, whether that's near their bin that they plan to give or not, because we have a bin outside our shop and we can see that even that's full all the time. So just wanted to, address all these points. And then, like I said, is it really something that's new to the community, benefiting the community? All of this is already being well served in St. Luke's Road, and multiple residents have also supported us in the fact that this is really not needed. So that's my points. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Right, subcommittee, any questions for the objector?
Hello?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so you mentioned about the extra traffic. I mean, there's currently or has been a shop there for many years before.
Yeah.
How did they get all their, I think it was a hardware store.
Yes.
How did they get all their equipment into the shop when it was a hardware store?
So I've spoken to the person who owns the store before, and obviously it's a hardware store and there's a lot of different stuff. So compared to like a convenience store, as you know, there will be parcel shop, there will be different sorts of stuff they'll be selling and offering as we do. We've got like a 10, 12 slot parking in front of our shop. 3 parking spots I doubt will be enough. For a hardware store, it's completely different. I've seen Leo's is popular, but at the same time, I believe a convenience store will cause excess traffic. As you know, everyone needs to pop in and out. So it'll be completely different in that regard. So there'll be delivery vans from Amazon, delivery vans from Every, DPD. They have massive vans, as you know. They will not be parking in a 3-slot garage. Parking spot.
Any more?
I know in most areas of the Royal Borough, a lot of pubs have closed in recent years. Has that been the case in Old Windsor at all?
I'm not sure about which pubs have closed down. I'm particularly just knowledgeable of what's happening with Leo's. In terms of pubs, I wouldn't be that knowledgeable. We are friends with many of the pub owners in our area. They're quite popular. They're serving their community as we are. I'm not sure about which ones have closed down. The ones that are there are quite popular. No worries.
Thank you. Just a quick question for me. You mentioned there were other off licenses on the same road.
Yeah.
On St Luke's Road. Which ones are those?
So Remit Enterprises Limited, that is our shop, and which is, I'd say, like a 2-minute walk from Leo's, which is I believe is quite unethical to open another off license there. And there is Co-op Shop, which is our competitor, which is already a major brand, which, as you know, big brands have alcohol licenses, and also they have bulk buying discounts. We're already competing with them. And I believe adding another alcohol retailer is morally incorrect, whilst still putting strain on our business, which we won't be able to compete with someone like Premier. They have bulk buying discounts from Booker, and also the Co-op is there as well. So well served and not needed is my main point.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Can I ask what hours you operate as well?
We open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. But also the hours are different. If you look at our Google, it basically is 7 a.m. to 9:30 on most days, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on and 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Just one question. How long have you been trading there?
We've had this location for since December 2022, and before that, my dad, who is in the panel in the back, he's managed multiple off licenses for years and years since I was a child. I've also then obtained my premises license since then, and I've been helping him run this store independently for the last 3 years.
Is that the only convenience store you have?
We had 2 convenience stores actually, then one on St Leonard's Road in Windsor, and we sold that one to get our fully owned one. Before that, we were in Glasgow. We had a very popular off license there as well. So we've been in the industry. We know the requirements, the legislation. My dad's done this his whole life. So.
Okay, so how do you get your deliveries in? Do you have enough space for deliveries?
So like I mentioned, we've got like a 10, 15 car parking right in front of us, which ranges from, you could park 3, 4, 5 vans there if you need to. So all our deliveries are done there. Very safe. The road is, clear as well on that side. Because of the parking, like I said, it makes everything easier.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Right. Has the applicant have any questions for the objector?
We know that place very well, where they mentioned they have a parking for 15 and the delivery vans, because the parkings are for their cars only the 2.4 meters perpendicular to the footpath. So you cannot park the truck on that way. So the cars are parking perpendicular to the road. So if you park that, you will take all the parking.
Okay. What I wanted to know is, do you have any questions for the objector?
Yeah, that is a question.
That is a question.
How they're getting the van deliveries on the truck, because the truck cannot be parked.
You want to?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, if you've studied just making sure they're listening. So if you've studied our parking area, is basically like you said, is if a long van wants to park, it's right. It can easily fit there. Also, we've got parking in the back as well, like you do. Also, we've got parking down the side of the road near Silkcrest. So, like I said, there's multiple options for us. It's not like a lorry or something is parking right in front of our like a large lorry is parking with like a freight truck right in front of our shop. It's Amazon vans. They can easily fit. We get multiple Amazon vans coming to our shop. There's never been a problem in the last 3 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? No, thank you. Right. Right, I will ask again, any other parties got any further questions? Panel members? No? Okay, thank you. Right, I will ask the applicant now to summarize their position and confirm if they had every chance to speak.
Thank you, Chair. The comments on the other premises in the area are not relevant to this premises operation. As per guidance, police are experts regarding law and disorder, and environmental authority are experts on antisocial behavior. They didn't oppose our operational hours, the applicant's operational hours. Parking is not a consideration, as it is unlawful to park illegally and covered by other legislation. It is not coming under licensing. This premises individually located and already existed as a retail space indeed. So it does served the community very well. So we hope it will operate as a retail, it will remain as a retail premises for the rest of the time. Then applicant have offered a challenge 25 policy, so they will not sell alcohol to persons who are underage. Premises will not serve to any drunk. As well as the objection comprises accusation and suggestion that are not proven and potentially biased against the applicant. Nevertheless, the premises are deemed suitable for their intended purpose, and the applicant is regarded as a fit and proper organization to hold a license. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Last chance? No? Okay. Right, I will ask the reporting officer. Craig, could you summarize, please? Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Chair. I'll just make some comments before I do summarise your options. During this hearing, I have looked at other premises. Obviously, we've heard the objectors' hours from 0700 to 2200 hours, which again does fall slightly outside the framework hours with the opening hour 2 hours before. The co-op, which has been mentioned, reflects exactly the same hours. They've recently done a full variation for those hours, which was granted. So that's from 0600 to 2300 hours as well. And I just recommend that you read the section 102 guidance, particularly sections 9.4 to 9.8, which sort of outlines your options on making a determination would be a frivolous or vexatious representation of objection. And that just outlines what you need to consider. As far as your options, as I mentioned earlier, having regard to the application and the relevant representations that we've heard, You must take such steps as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. And your options are to reject the application, refuse to specify a person as DPS, like I said, is not relevant here. Grant the application, but modify the activities and or the hours and or the conditions of the license. Or D, grant the application as it's been applied for. Where you were minded to attach conditions to the license, reasons for those conditions must be given in writing to the applicant as forming part of your decision letter. In making the decision, the subcommittee is reminded that you have a duty to behave impartially and that your decision must be based on the evidence that is being presented to you. In your written decision, the subcommittee should refer to every representation and the supporting evidence provided, state the extent to which it has taken account of the RBWM's policy and national guidance. When deciding in accordance with RBWM policy and the national guidance, explain why it's not considered a departure from those justified. When deciding contrary to our policy and or the national guidance, again, explain the basis for the reason for those reasons and the evidence that supported that decision. When refusing an application in whole or in part, or modifying the activities and or the hours and or the conditions to the license that is granted, state why it considered it appropriate to do so in order to promote one or more specified licensing objectives, and also the evidence that supported that decision. And such decision must be cogent and legally sound. Use the legal advisor's help to draft its reasons and to assist in ensuring that the decision is legally robust. But the reasons must be the subcommittee's. Ensure, as far as reasonably possible, that the decision will be able to withstand scrutiny should any party to this hearing appeal the decision to the Magistrates' Court. The subcommittee are reminded that any party to this hearing may appeal against the decision of the subcommittee to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days of the notification of the determination. Thank you. The subcommittee are asked to determine this application.
Thank you, Dre. Thank you very much. Now the subcommittee will retire and communicate with the decision with the 5 working days. So I have to ask everyone to leave the room apart from our clerk and our legal officer. So we'll make the decision and you will be notified within 5 working days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.